The 10 money rules you should follow to achieve financial success. A few years ago, I found myself in a difficult situation where bills always piled up, but I had no money to pay them off. Taking care of these obligations might not have been easy, but they were necessary. I'm sure plenty of people have been in a similar situation, and can relate to how stressful it can be. The good news is that, over time, I did manage to find my way out of this tough situation, and you can too. That's why in this video I'm going to be sharing tips, tricks and success strategies that you can use to get on track with your finances. So let's get started. Here are the 10 money rules for financial success. 1. Make a budget. Previously, I didn't understand why some people feel they don't need a budget, but it's slowly starting to make sense. You see, most people don't have a budget because they think it would be too much work to set one up. In truth, it is a lot of work, but it can definitely be worth it. You should look at budgeting from a different perspective, where you focus on the positives of it and consider how much it would help you. Once you establish a rhythm, make sure to stick with it. I found this to be the only way that really works. So make sure you don't lose momentum. If you create a budget and store it away in a file or folder on your bookshelf or filing cabinet, all of your hard work is worthless. Furthermore, make sure you're constantly reviewing and updating your budget. Fortunately, there are a lot of tools available which make this task easy. You can find a few of them with a quick search online, and they're often free. 2. Keep track of your spending. You've probably heard this a million times, and you're going to hear it again today, simply because it works and because you're not doing it. It should always be a priority. It's worth making sure you track every penny you spend, to make sure that you're only spending the money on what's important. Tracking expenses allows you to find and change wasteful habits in your financial life. Additionally, by keeping track of your expenses and encouraging better financial habits like saving and investing, you can maintain control over your finances. As Peter Drucker said, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. The first step in managing your spending is to analyze the different types of expenses you have and decide which are the most important. For example, you might find out that you've been paying for a subscription but don't use it at all. There are many common, non-essential expenditures that people make. Usually, people only consider cutting back on these as a way to save money. Now that you know where your money is going, you might be looking for activities or hobbies that cost less. And, on top of saving money, you have the opportunity to get educated on the topics you'll be reading about. So there really isn't much to lose by trying this. 3. Eat at home. If you're able to prepare meals and eat at home, then you'll likely be spending a much lower sum of money. All that's needed is to cut back on takeout. Even if it's rarely done, eating at a fancy restaurant can be nice. But if you start cooking at home or packing your lunches to work every day, you might save a lot of money. Make a weekly food plan to save time. Plan your meals for the upcoming week and stick to them. Even if you're not a skilled cook, there's lots of recipe advice online that can help you make something up each night. Starting this week, why not start by preparing at least one meal per week in your own house? You can take your lunch to work from now on. You'll be surprised how much money you'll save. 4. Give yourself a limit on unbudgeted spending. You may have moments of impulse buying something you didn't originally budget for. While that feeling can be enjoyable in the moment, it's important to be mindful. That temporary high emotion from impulsively buying expensive or unnecessary items is unlikely to last, and you may end up wasting money on unnecessary items. If this is you, then the harsh reality is that this has to stop because it's the entire opposite of good money habits. You should try the 1% rule next time you hit them all. This rule states that you'll need to wait a day before making any purchase if it costs more than 1% of your yearly income. So if you make $60,000 a year, then you must wait 24 hours before making a purchase over $600. This guideline applies to spending money on things you want but don't need. This is usually an inner battle in your head between, do I really need this, and, do I want this? The 24-hour cooling off period provides you with the opportunity to change your mind about the purchase. Why not take an additional day to consider if you actually need it? After 24 hours, you might be better off without it. The next time you go shopping, don't forget to use this tip. 5. Read books about finance. It's true that if you want something to remain a secret, put it on paper. But the sad truth is that most people won't even think to read. Some things people choose to ignore, like books or articles, may contain powerful information that can make them successful if they bother to read them. Learning can be a continuous process, and the more you do it, the better you become at what you're doing. The main advantage of having financial literacy is making wiser financial decisions. It gives us the power to manage our money properly, including features such as budgeting, saving, borrowing and investing. And as a result, this provides you with financial stability to meet your objectives and establish a plan for your future. Financially, it's a superpower that really puts you in control and makes you comfortable knowing you're in charge of your own financial destiny. 6. Save for big purchases. Seeing a gorgeous ad that advertises a $4,000, 90-inch flat screen. I mean, think of the things you could enjoy on that TV. However, that doesn't mean you should immediately call and buy one. That's a really bad idea. You should remember the 24-hour rule we mentioned earlier. So, if you really want that big TV, experts recommend taking it from your savings account that is dedicated for such purchases. You should avoid taking out a credit card loan, unless you have a really good plan to pay the money back, which 99% of people don't. Not only will this allow you to save big and buy at the best time, but it can also result in a better deal. While it's always good to save for the future, when it comes time to make an important purchase, you may be able to negotiate a discount or more reasonable financing conditions if you pay cash. The price could drop as well. A loan may also make sense for large buys or purchases with increasing value, such as a home or car, or if this purchase prevents you from taking money out of your savings account. As you'll have little to spend if you buy your TV in cash, it is wise to save up for a few months before you purchase the products you need or want. To avoid future complications, it's important to start saving for that specific thing. 7. Pay off your debt. Carrying a lot of debt, especially on high-interest credit cards, can be one of the most costly mistakes you can make. If you want to get your finances in order and open up new opportunities, it's important to pay off your debt as soon as possible. If you are the forgetful type, then you should list all your existing debt, including credit card debt, student loan debt and vehicle loans. You will need to determine the minimum payment on each of them. The minimum payment on your debt will never be enough to get you out of it, so plan ahead and take into account your fixed costs. How much money can you put aside to pay off the debt will depend on your discretionary income. You could also try to lower the interest rate by requesting a new, lower rate from the issuer, merging several loans into one, or moving high-interest debt to a low-interest card to secure a better deal. Afterward, create an appropriate debt repayment strategy and responsible spending practices to pay off the debt as soon as possible. You'll be able to repay your debt faster the more you put towards it each month. One of the important things to do is reduce your credit card debts. Unlike your regular house or car payments, it becomes more expensive over time and it's hard to decrease what you're spending on them. 8. Lower your monthly bill. When it comes to saving money, cutting your monthly spending is one of the easiest ways to get ahead financially. While it's difficult to cut back on certain expenses, like rent or car payments without making significant lifestyle changes, you can cut back on variable expenses such as clothes or entertainment by being flexible and thinking sparingly. To start saving on expenses like your utility bill, you may choose to use less power by switching insurance companies and consider shopping for your groceries at a bulk discount. Additionally, you should be cautious in accepting a loan, just because your salary or credit score make you eligible for one. A lot of people believe the bank won't give them a loan that their monthly income can't afford. The bank only knows about the income you've disclosed to them and the debts from your credit report. The bank can't know about any other financial commitments that would make it difficult for you to make timely payments. Based on your monthly income and other monthly responsibilities, you must therefore determine if a monthly payment is within budget. 9. Stop using credit cards. Credit cards are a handy tool to have. They can play an important role in your life if you need them and they can be very helpful in your credit score. However, for some people, a lack of self-control and access to emergency credit card borrowing can often lead to long-term financial disaster. If you can't afford to make ends meet by the end of the month, you may be using your credit cards too much. It's important to think about other ways to get by, otherwise, you may end up in debt. This will affect your ability to pay your bills, save for retirement, or pursue other financial goals. So, stop using your credit cards if you genuinely want to take charge of your financial situation. To avoid accumulating more debt and aside from creating a budget so that you don't have to use credit cards, try switching to cash or debit cards. You could also open a savings account for short-term purchases and only spend funds from it. Or you could leave your credit card at home and use cash or debit instead. Credit cards can have high interest rates and can quickly accumulate debt if you're not careful with your spending, and they can also create stress in case of a financial emergency. Many people have developed the bad habit of using credit cards because they feel like their money is disappearing quickly every month. They are living paycheck to paycheck and rely on their credit cards for some breathing room when they can't pay off all their expenses in one go. Stop continuously using credit cards and start living a more sustainable lifestyle. Once you gain the wisdom and maturity to handle credit cards responsibly, they can be a good tool in your life. 10. Continue to spend quickly. Spending fast is a great option for personal finances that suffer from credit card debt or other financial problems, as it can help you to save money and work towards a better budget. Basically, going on a spending fast means that you're refraining from making any discretionary purchases for a set period of time. We believe this can be helpful in clearing up the clutter and getting your finances in order. It may sound like a challenging task, but that doesn't always have to be the case. You may be familiar with the well-known and contentious detox or cleansing fasts that your body might go through. For example, giving up sugar or gluten for 30 days or even surviving solely on fruit or vegetable juices for a few weeks. But did you know that in order to achieve financial wellness, you may find comparable fasting or cleansing procedures to your spending and saving behaviors? This would mean that spending are restricted to only the essentials during this time, with food, transportation and regular expenses being untouched. If you're looking to get out of debt and live more simply, you should commit to this challenge. You'll spend less money, watch your habits, and figure out what's truly important to you. The result of this event can change your perspective on money. My hope is that this video has helped you. Now, with this video it's possible for you to always be one step ahead of your finances. If you've never had a financial problem, that means more money for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below. Maybe consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and hitting that like button because it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. That concludes our video for today. Thank you to all the viewers and have a great day. Until next time.